get to the studio?
Oh, Kalani. Can I call you back in a second?
All right, I'll meet you there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to World Drum Club. I'm Kalani Das, and I've got a special episode this time, really a special treat. We're going to meet the producer of a really exciting curriculum, online course, just a huge resource for djembe or just hand drumming if you're interested in learning more and becoming a better drummer in general. We're going to meet him right after this, but check out some clips from this program. All right, so that's super exciting. There's a lot to dig into here. So I want to introduce the producer, Ossi Raippalinna. And Ossi, thanks for joining us on World Drum Club. It's so glad to have you coming in from Finland.
Hi, Kalani. Yeah, it's a big pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks for, taking some time off the mountain.
Yeah. I was a bit late, to be honest, but here I am. Let's get going.
Sliding right into the studio.
Exactly,
so, Yeah, so I'm sure everybody's wondering, how did a guy from Finland end up producing a West African drumming project? And, just give me a quick overview. What is Kalanso and what does Kalanso mean? Maybe we start off with that. What is Kalanso and what is this project?
Yeah, Kalanso means the House of Wisdom. And the story goes back to 2003 when I started learning djembe in Finland, and it was kind of difficult to find good teachers. And at first, I really had to look for the right teacher, and I got it going. I started practicing on daily basis and played ever since. In 2015, I was lucky to meet my idol, I was listening to Adama Drame's music ever since I started playing, and I found some of his records in the local library. So it was really something I was aiming for a long time. And I asked him, why haven't you produced a tutorial for the djembe? And he said, well, I didn't find the right people to do it with, and I just went straight on and proposed him, why don't we do it in Finland? And he slept overnight, and the next day he told, all right, show me what you got, let's plan it. And 2 weeks from there we had shot the material, and after that we put it together during the 2 following years, because obviously it was quite a big production. Afterwards we had to arrange everything to be as pedagogical as possible. We had to do the transcriptions, we did plenty of stuff, and as a producer I also planned the pedagogical side of it, because I used to be djembe instructor since almost 15 years now, and from that experience, from having taught Western students, I had quite a lot of experience on how to handle this kind of material, how to arrange it, organize it as systematically as possible.
So I think that's really important, because people need to understand that this is not just like a video. This is a online learning platform and process. There's a process to it. There's a way to dig in. Could you just give people the the kind of big chunks and the overview. And I think we've got some clips that we can share also so people can see what you're talking about while you tell them kind of give them the big chunks or the big stages of the program.
Yeah. So quickly, the House of Wisdom, why we chose the name? Obviously, it's the ancient African wisdom, and Adamas got it from his family because he's a griot from the griot family, and Kalanso is there to lay down that wisdom for the public. So it starts from covering the playing technique, and Adama's technique is special because he used to travel the world since the 70s, and he got involved in different projects with master percussionists around the world. He played with Cuban musicians, with Indian musicians, etc. And every time he would be inspired with the different hand drumming techniques and start applying it on the djembe. So that made him play the djembe in a very different way than other people. And at the same time, he was all the time performing as a soloist. He would perform djembe solos. So that process took him really far with the technique. So the first chapters are just about his playing technique, explaining the syllables and covering the foundation, and moving on to different exercises for different levels of players. So starting from absolute beginners, going to intermediate and advanced exercises. Then we have a traditional piece. He shows his version of a rhythm called yakba, and then we have two of his own, actually three of his own compositions. And those compositions are performed on his albums, in his live performances. So it's really challenging stuff. It's the real deal of Adama Drame's signature style.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Adama's really made his name for himself as a solo djembe player. And I remember I have Adama's albums, and I remember just listening, to these long solos and just a lot of composition, a lot of developments and themes and variations, and they're long. Yeah, they're involved. I mean, like you said, they probably have elements from that Indian drumming and Afro-Cuban drumming. And so this is really different than a lot of the other djembe material that's out there, right? This is about, if you want to sound like something unique, I guess this would be a great place to dig into and also learn from somebody who has a special place, right? A unique place, because there's nobody like him. He has his own way of teaching, his own way. I think it could be great for people that want to do something a little bit different, maybe break out of a rut they're in, if they've learned the traditional kind of three tones djembe and all the rhythms and don't learn that way. This would be something new, even for an experienced player. So what do you imagine? Like, what would you say to the experienced player, the hand drummer? What are they going to really get out? What is this program going to do for them? Like somebody who already has some experience.
Yeah, I think it's all about the melody and musicality. So first of all, you mentioned the three basic notes. We're looking at approximately 10 different notes right now, and so all this will add to your vocabulary. You'll have plenty of other sounds that you didn't even imagine on the djembe before, and that will allow the melodical approach, and in any situation you'll have more notes on your djembe. So yeah, you can develop your playing to a more musical direction.
I would think also, just so the sounds, the techniques, and then that kind of compositional approach too, right? Which is something that a lot of hand drummers don't really get into unless they're doing Indian music, which of course has a lot of forms and long forms. But in the West African traditions, that's not usually the case, or the Afro-Cuban traditions, it's not so much the case, where you have these long solo forms. So if somebody was wanting to develop their, like you said, their musicality and maybe their sensibilities of that composition and longer, pieces of music rather than just playing a rhythm
Exactly.
in an ensemble. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. And Adama has a special way to teach that. He divides the pieces into the call, obviously the introduction, the bass rhythm, which is the rhythmic foundation of the piece, and then the variations of the bass rhythm. So he would have several variations of that bass, and that would kind of tune you into the rhythmic feeling, the spirit of that particular piece. And then there is the improvisation part, where the soloist, the djembe player, can travel and surf the waves of that rhythmic feeling or that spirit of the rhythm. So during that part, there's a lot of flow involved, a lot of inspiration, personal inspiration involved. So obviously the improvisation part can always be a bit different. It doesn't have to be the same. But in Kalanso, we also transcribed his improvisations note by note, so you can actually learn them exactly like he plays it. It's divided into different sections, and with the slow down loops you can actually look exactly which hand is playing which note. And when you go through that process and learn those improvisations, I think you can take your own improvisation to a next level.
For sure, and that's something that we all aspire to. But of course, a great way to learn is to emulate, synchronize with the master, emulate the master, and then your own style can develop from there. But I do want to remind everybody, and we'll show a couple more clips after as we wrap up. But I know this is a really nice production, and you're a teacher, and you understand a lot of the great ways to capture the views and the angles, the notation, the explanation, and deliver it in a way that is going to really work for people, especially online, which is another step removed from what we're sometimes used to in terms of classes. But I really like that actually now, because sometimes it's kind of like watching a sporting event at home. Sometimes you get a better view of what's going on than if you were there live, right, in the stadium.
True. Exactly.
So it's a little bit like that. So before we wrap up, and I want to let everybody know that we're going to put a link below so you can see the program. You've got samples there, and we have a special link too for people on World Drum Club if you want to use that. But is there anything else that you'd like people to know about the program, or any information that you'd like to share with them about it?
Yeah, just referring to the last question, like if you actually take it to the level where you are learning all of that material, there's plenty of it. So we're looking at a process of 2-3 years of learning at least, even if you had experience before with the djembe. So that means with the price of a weekend course, you're actually getting a curriculum that can take you really, really far. And it's a really deep material, and there's interviews, there's archive materials from the career of Adama. He's telling about his mindset, his values. I think there's much more to it than just the transcriptions and the musical knowledge.
Yeah, and that's another point about where it could take a lot of the people in the djembe community, right? And maybe with your help and Adama's help, people can break out of that. Just I'm a part player. I'm just going to play this part in the ensemble. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. It's great. It's exciting. It's really satisfying to do that. But wouldn't it be interesting if we also had a lot of djembe soloists, coming out, growing up in the community? I think we could use more of that. I personally would love to see more people doing this kind of solo drumming work, solo djembe work. Why not? It's another whole side of the instrument that I think a lot of people don't explore that much. Maybe because of the precedent about what is playing djembe mean, what's your role, and you go into that role of, just playing the supportive parts or soloing. But this is a whole nother dimension, I think, that the community in general could really benefit from.
Exactly. And also, like, when the mindset is right, when the approach for the instrument is right, you can really benefit much more. You can sense the community and your place within the drumming event. As you mentioned, the accompaniment players, they are playing a really important role, and but that doesn't mean that they would play the same thing through the night. So by learning the variations, by learning the right mindset, they can actually add up to the music. They can also push forward the solist by just doing small comments on his playing, and eventually it becomes a dialogue. It's all about interaction between the musicians, between the dance, between the public.
Absolutely. Well, Ossi, thank you for taking a little time away from your beautiful, snowy winter wonderland and talking about this. I'm not going to tell you about what the weather's like here in Los Angeles right now, but it's nice. But but snow is nice too. I can't ski to the store like you can. So thank you so much. And we're going to leave the links in the description of this video. And like I said, we'll link also from the World Drum Club channel. And we're going to check back. We'll check back in a little bit and see how everything's going over there with Kalanso. And I don't know why you didn't call it Kalani, but that, but maybe in the future.
Close enough, right?
It's close enough. It's close enough. All right. Thank you, my friend. And be well. And everybody go check it out. Links are below. Thank you again, Ossi. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kalani. Have a nice day.
Thank you.